There is and can be so much that goes into your journey of becoming successful. My journey of becoming successful. Like, if you read this title, okay, 18 years old, haven't made it yet, but I'm on my way, right? I've been taking a journey. So, it all started essentially when I was 14, right? I mean, I can go through my whole life story here, kind of tell you where I actually came from, and what I'm actually doing now. I started, okay, I used to always be the kid. As I grew up, like, I always thought that, just follow the American dream, right? I mean, I always wanted a wife, always wanted kids, just to live typical. Like, I always loved cars, and I feel like always a kid was. I feel like I always had like strong determination. Okay, I always felt like I could do anything I put my mind to. Right, I was just always so confident. Um, in a sense, obviously not a ton as much as I am now, but with a decent amount for growing up. Um, but one thing I've always had in common was that I never knew what I wanted to actually do in life. Okay, I knew I wanted a wife, I knew I wanted kids, I wanted a sports car, nice house, whatever. Every kid, like, you ask a kid now, whenever they're like about like 2 feet tall, it's like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a millionaire, have a nice car, smoking hot wife. I mean, that's just everybody's dreamt of that at some point whenever they're a little kid, especially if you're a guy. But um, it's just true. And then I always knew though that, like, whenever the question would come to me, it's like, Trey, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, I don't know. Like, I genuinely did not know, because I would have, even when I was like, I had no idea what I wanted to be. People would say doctor. People would say like nurse. I want to be a vet. I want to be an astronaut. Even that was like really like young. But like as we start to progress, as we start to like elementary school and like whenever you ask, it's like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you play? What do you want to do? Like, what are your interests? It's like, I don't know, dude. Um, like I said, everybody would say they want to be a doctor, they want to be a nurse, they want to be a vet, they wanted to be a coach, they wanted to play professional sports. I mean, that was a big one, especially for boys. But I always had a dream of becoming an NBA player. Um, that was like an unrealistic dream for me, though. I didn't truly believe that I was going to get there, because I just held so many limiting beliefs to myself. Um, but like genuinely, what I like whenever it came down to like me genuinely asking myself what I wanted to do, I did not know, and I never have, right? I've never known what I wanted to do, because everything, dude, everything just sounded so boring. Like, as we just progressed through elementary school, made our way to high school, everybody would get more solidified. They would kind of split off into other groups, and you would start to not hang out with your friends as much and start to find a new group of friends, and everybody would start, being to kind of decide what they want to do, start to get jobs, stuff like that. And it's like, these people had these goals, people had these dreams of, not even dreams, like I wouldn't even call like that a dream of being like a doctor or whatever. I mean, if that's you, I mean, I'm not hating, of course, but it's whatever, right? But I just thought it sounded so boring. I genuinely did. I thought everything in life was so boring. I thought it was like, you're telling me like the only way I can go out of high school is just into this like dead end job. Like, I realized this when I was young. I feel like I always had such like a I feel like I had a higher like IQ level. I don't want to sound cocky or confident, because now I just sound like an asshole. But I just like knew. I knew. I didn't know what I want, but I knew what I didn't want. Okay, and I didn't want just a normal job. I didn't want a 9 to 5. Okay, I hated that. I mean, my dad always worked a 9 to 5. I, it's whatever, right? I don't give him any hate for what he does. Of course not. He's my dad. I love him, right? Um, but it was just I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay, and everybody would say it's like, yeah, I plan to go do this after high school. I plan to go do this. I plan to go do this, and it was all just like go to college. And like I hated college as well, guys. I always hated school. Okay, I hated going through school. Elementary school is fine, but once you got into high school, I hated it. Okay, and like at 14, and like 13, 14 years old, I felt like I was so like depressed within myself, because I genuinely did not know. I didn't have anything going for me. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was feeling so stressed for honestly no reason, because I was only 14 years old, right? 14. Um, and that's whenever I started getting into the whole like I got a phone. Like, I got my own phone whenever I was 14 years old, and that's whenever I got Instagram, and I started seeing social media and stuff like that. Started opening myself up to different possibilities. But just a big takeaway. Okay, I had never known what I wanted to do. but I knew what I didn't want to do because every 9 to 5 to me was boring. Okay, nothing. Like I genuinely sat for a whole day thinking about what it is that I want to do. Literally write things down, because I think it was like my mom, like my parents or something. It's like Trey, like write down stuff that you want to do. Think of stuff. It's like I can't. I genuinely cannot. Like I haven't found one thing. Right. All I knew is I like cars. Okay. I liked a nice lifestyle. Okay. That's just what I wanted, and I wanted a nice wife, and it was whatever, right? And this was whenever I was like, fast forward to, I mean, that was all elementary school. Fast forward to high school, 14 years old, right? Enter freshman year of high school, skinnier than hell. Okay, skinnier than hell. Basically a twig, you could say. Um, Still didn't know anything. Still wasn't, figuring anything out. I was currently doing like cross country and track and basketball, like 3 sports. Hated every single one of them with a passion. Still kind of, I thought I like missed them for a little bit, but that's, of course, I'm going off topic, but I hated it, right? I just did not like school that much. Even though I was a freshman, I was literally doing nothing in school. Um, I didn't like myself. I wasn't happy with myself. And the one thing that genuinely like opened up my mind, even though I felt like I said, like I felt like my IQ was higher in a sense. Okay, I feel like I knew genuinely what I did want to do from an early age. Um, and that I was setting myself up. Okay. So essentially 14 comes around 2022. Okay. And this is when I finally got introduced to Andrew Tate. Okay. And it sounds so cliche. It's like half half the half the boys of the population now are like their lives have been changed from Andrew Tate. That guy was just so damn influential. But he was the one that started everything for me. Okay, I started watching his stuff. I was like 14. I genuinely, like I said, I felt like so depressed within myself and just hated myself. And I just continued to keep going, to keep looking. Hopefully, I would find something that maybe I wanted to do, go to college, whatever. Even though I hated college, I didn't like the idea of college. And then I got opened up to Andrew Tate. And what he said, I just had never, the reason he stuck with me so much is because I had never felt more relatable, right? I mean, he literally had the same dreams and same mindset that I did, right? And he like adopted me this mindset of just like, screw you. I kind of want to just like go into the online world, right? And I would watch his stuff. I'd become motivated. And he was the one, he essentially got me into the gym. Okay, I started lifting at 14. Not consistently, obviously. Consistency started around like 15 years old. Okay, going to the gym. But he started my gym journey, and he helped me open my mind up to the online world. And I would always join his like uh, emergency meetings, is what he called them. They were just little live meetings. Back in the time whenever he was like in prison, he got out of prison, and he's like the most famous man on the planet, right? Genuinely love the hell out of that guy. And I don't know what happened, but I kind of stopped listening to him more and more as time went on. And like I would still like listen to him occasionally, and like David Goggins and stuff like that. But I would it was a phase where I would just stay stuck watching these just self-improvement videos. Okay, my feed inevitably started to turn into not just like stuff that would keep me scrolling, but it would be stuff that like was self-improvement based, that was mindset based, that was aligned with people that wanted to become successful. Okay, that shaped my identity. Andrew Tate shaped my identity into becoming somebody who wanted to be successful. And he got me so inspired that I literally, 14 years old, I went to go ask my mom if I could join his Hustlers University, to where he could actually teach me how to make money, because I knew that I didn't want a normal job at that point. Okay, whenever I was 14, almost turning 15, I did not want to go and find a normal job. Okay, because I had been not adopted, but just I had begun to think that I had a higher calling. Okay, I genuinely became so cocky. It was like unhealthily cocky and like confident, right? Um, and not that's not necessarily a terrible thing, but um, now that I look at it, it's whatever, right? But anyways, went to go ask my mom, can I join? Oh, mom, can I join Hustlers University? Can I join the online course? And she said, she's like, no, because if you go to talk to your financial advisor, okay, like your financial advisor is always going to tell you an online course is the worst thing you could genuinely go do. And it's like, okay, like I believed her in the sense because I was only 14 and my mind it hadn't been introduced the whole aspect of limiting beliefs, right? And that was whenever the first limiting belief got bestowed within my head, right? Whenever I realized that, hey, since my mom said it was a scam, it probably is a scam, so I'm just not going to listen. So I decided to not take any action. Okay, I didn't join. Continue listening to him, whatever. But it's not like I genuinely believed that it was a scam. No, I was always skeptical, right? I always wanted to, because I knew that like my financial advisor wasn't driving around in a Lamborghini. Okay, smoking cigars, popping bottles in Miami on the weekends, right? I mean, I knew he wasn't doing that. So it's like, why would I listen to my financial advisor whenever he's a freaking loser, right? I mean, sorry, but it's honestly the truth. Um, so I kind of just went through 14 kind of thinking about that. And then, 15 rolls around. I started getting more into the gym, kind of just like takes everything up a notch. I'm still listening to Andrew Tate, whatever. Um, but I'm figuring out kind of what it is that I want to do, and I still had no idea, right? I knew my love for cars had grown to such an insane amount that I wanted to do something in the car industry. Okay, so 15 rolls around, I get my first job at a funeral home. I worked at a funeral home for 2 years, and it was a nice job just because it was different. I was showing up in a suit and tie every single day to work, working with these guys that were 50 years older than me. Okay, in a funeral home, I got paid 20 an hour to go essentially pick up dead bodies and whatever, right? And work funerals. It wasn't a bad job, okay? But I worked there for 2 years, 15 through 17, and that the time frame of 15 through 17, I kind of just like let everything go. Like I was still going to the gym. Um, I was still staying consistent in the gym. I loved working out. I grew a deep, deep passion for working out and trying to become greater because at the moment, whenever I began to reach 15 years old, I started seeing progress in the gym. It's like, whoa, like I'm kind of not a twig anymore. People were kind of telling me, giving me compliments on my progress in the gym, and it got me addicted. It literally got me addicted to the point it's like, okay, I'm never stopping this. So I got into such a great love for the gym that I would work out every single day. Never miss a day. I have never missed a day, right? Um, I would always go 5, 6 times a week. But I was working this job, 15 through 17, and everything just kind of tuned out for me. Like I didn't pay attention much into online courses or try to actually take action or explore what it is I truly want. I kind of just let go of everything that was going to happen after high school because it wasn't there yet. So it's like, why even care, right? I mean, that was kind of my mindset. I ended up getting a girlfriend at that time, still with her. And then like I said, I mean, everything in the future just turned off, and I've just focused on the present moment, and life was fine, honestly. And until I hit 17, okay, I quit the funeral home. If you go watch one of my videos, an incident happened where I crashed the hearse and almost died. But that's for another video. I'm not going to talk about that now. But long story short, I left the funeral home whenever I was 17, and I joined. Like I said, guys, my love for cars was unmatched, and there was this car place that I really wanted to work at, right? And essentially they weren't even hiring. All right, it was a family-owned car business where it was what do you call it? A broker, like a kind of like a auto broker place where these people would buy really nice cars and sell them for even more. They would fix them up and sell for even more, and they only worked with nice cars. Like I'm talking about like the best like muscle cars, sports cars off the line. They had some Lamborghinis and Ferraris that would come through eventually as well. But it just sounded like an awesome job to be working at, right? And it's like, okay, I know they're probably not going to hire me, but I'm going to go try, right? They ended up not being able to hire me. I went and called, and I was like, yo, like, are you guys hiring? And they're like, no, we're not hiring. This is a family-owned business. We don't hire anybody. It's like, okay, whatever, sweet. Minute later, get a call back from them saying, you know what, we might have a position open for you. And my mind was blown. Okay, that's when I first realized it's that anything you genuinely can put your mind to, you can do. Okay, that was whenever I started to get the first taste of that. Because whenever I actually got this job, okay, it was the best job I've ever had. Besides, the best in-person physical labor job I've ever had. Okay, it was so fun. I essentially, I started working there, and then from there I got in connection with a guy. I started doing detailing. Right, this was the first business I've ever helped run in my entire life. I tried running a detailing business. And that was whenever I got my first taste of like the whole entrepreneur side of things, right? We would detail really nice cars, boring cars as well, but I'd be working there almost every day after school. Made quite a bit of money from that, way more money than I was making at my funeral home job because they weren't like working me as much. So I started to see a lot more money coming in through the door. I was probably making maybe like two grand a month working there, but it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. And things ended up falling through once I worked there until I was 18, of course. And now, I mean, now I'm 18, right? I mean, we're fast forwarding to probably like 7 months ago. Okay. I probably quit that job. Well, when did I quit that job? I quit that job before my senior year. So I essentially worked at that auto broker throughout my whole junior year and in a little bit of my senior year, right? As I joined my senior year in high school, that's when things started to be different, right? Because I had realized, it's like, okay, this detailing's going well, but like I'm going to be graduating in a few months and I need to get something figured out because this detailing job isn't bringing in what I want to. And I wasn't the one that was owning it. It was another guy that was owning it. He was doing way better off. And he realized that he's going into flying, so it's like the detailing thing is going to go away, right? I mean, we're not going to be detailing much anymore, so it's like, okay, there's a lost opportunity. I didn't want to take it over because I didn't care about it too much. So that's when I genuinely started to lock in a little bit, if you want to say, right? I mean, I started to lock in. Okay, 18 years old, winter. I mean, it's around, I would say, December, almost my birthday. I mean, my birthday's in December. So around there, I decided to change, and I didn't leave the detailing thing. They kind of just like let me off because they're like, okay, we'll touch base in summer after you graduate. We'll see if we want to keep working together or whatever. I'm like, okay, fine. Talk to you later, right? So 2026, right? This year, new year, 18 years old, still in high school. Got the whole year, okay, to figure out what I'm gonna do, or the rest of the school year to figure out what I'm gonna do, and it's January. And like I said, I had felt the same way. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to go to college. I had decided that for like the past 4 years that I wasn't going to go to college. I never wanted to. Okay, and that's when I started looking into more online businesses. And essentially, what first happened was, there was this one night where I decided like, why not just try and take action and try to do something online, because I was scrolling and I just kept seeing these people make it. I mean, these people that were my age literally driving around in Lamborghinis in Miami, popping bottles on the weekends, right? I mean, what, like, if they can have it, why can't I? So I ended up getting in touch with this guy who did AI receptionists. Okay, he would install an AI receptionist, AI websites for small businesses. I mean, typical, right? He had a good following on Instagram, and I eventually go on to this closing call with him, or this discovery call, like they want to say, the strategy call. And it was the first call I've ever been on to try and be closed into a course. And what happened was the call goes good. Before I had essentially tried to, actually no, that was after. Scratch that. So I had tried to, or no, I was on the call. Okay, scratch that. I was on the call with this guy who was trying to get me to buy his course for an AI receptionism, right? Or an AI receptionist trying to learn how to start an agency where you build AI for websites. And, everything was sounding really good and whatever, until he got to the price, okay? And he said, it's like, all right, $1,000 you got to pay. And I thought, dude, like, I thought $1,000 was so much. Okay, I thought it was so much at the time, and I was so scared because I had never dropped like any big prices. Like I was always a saver growing up, right? I never wanted to spend my money. I always wanted to save it because I wanted a nice car, right? So the thought of dropping $1,000 into a course where I met a guy just 45 minutes ago and already almost like buying into his course, it's like it sounded unrealistic. So essentially, he did kind of well. I mean, I knew that the guy, he was terrible. He was a little sketchy. Um, didn't really know too much what he was talking about. I kind of gave him a little bit of test questions, see if he was like, is this legit or not? He's like, yo, I can't tell you how much money I'm making, but like, bro, it's like, it's legit and it's legit. It's whatever. It's like, okay. I was stupid at the time. Ended up giving him $1,000, but I was so scared to the point where it's like, I had some trouble with my bank, and my bank ended up texting me. It's like, yo, like, did you just spend $1,000 on this course? And I was like, I got scared, and I was like, no, I didn't, even though I literally did. So then they ended up shutting down my card, shutting down my bank account because I had invested $1,000 into this course. And I eventually got the $1,000 back, okay, and I never spoke to the guy again, right? I mean, he never followed back or anything. I got my $1,000 back. I got a new card. Bank account was reopened, and that was like a week later. I was so scared. And from there, I decided it's like, okay, I'm not going into the online world. I'm not doing it, right? That was so scary. Like, I genuinely felt like it was such a scam. And that the fact that I took my $1,000 away gave me so much more of a good feeling, right? So I go for the next few months, going towards the end of the year, um, feeling like, okay, I don't really know what I'm going to do. Life's going to lead me somewhere, right? Um, and then fast forward to March. Okay, two months go by, March. Okay, beginning of March, there's this one thing I always wanted to do, was content creation. I loved the fact that you could create content, go viral, and make money off social media monetizing. Okay. And one thing for me was always fitness. Okay, I loved fitness. I loved the gym. It was something I was passionate about. Um, and after my run-in with the guy on the discovery call who tried to close me in on $1,000 course, it's like I don't really know what I'm gonna do. Um, but like I realized that I wasn't willing to do like whatever it takes at the time, but I knew like I had a strong conviction behind me that wanted to become successful. Okay, and essentially that's when I started content creation, social media. I created a YouTube and Instagram on the same night. It was the beginning of March, not really sure what day. But I realized that I wanted to start fitness coaching. Okay. And that's kind of why I created the social media, is that I wanted to start fitness coaching. And the dumb thing was, like on my normal Instagram account before I started another, I was literally DMing trying to get people to like buy my own fitness coaching program, even though I didn't even have a gym account. Like it was so dumb the way and that was only like 6 months ago too. Like that, it's just, I feel so stupid since. But anyways, that happened. And this guy I ended up reaching out to told me, he's like, bro, if you're going to sell something, create an account. And I was so scared when he said that, but he's like, you're right, bro. Like, why don't I just create an account and just say screw everybody? Because the one thing that was holding me back from content creation was that I was always scared of what people thought of me. Okay, I had a terrible idea that people would always care about whatever I was doing, about content creation, whatever. Like they would make fun of me, especially whenever I was in high school. I didn't want to do that, right? I had some kids there that were idiots, so I didn't want to do that. And essentially, what I did was, whenever I created that account that night, I blocked everybody. Okay, 2,000 blocks on my Instagram account, brand new Instagram account, posted the first time. And I immediately fell in love. Okay, I love the aspect of content creation, putting myself out there. And within the first few weeks, I got a reel that hit like 200K views. And it was like, oh my gosh, I've had the feeling like I got to 600 followers on Instagram within like a month, like not even a month. I don't even know how long it was, like maybe it was a month. I got to like 600 followers and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is nuts. And essentially, I mean, it all just went from there. I mean, that's when I started doing fitness coaching, and this was around what's after February, March, April. God, I'm so stupid. April. I've got like 500 followers on Instagram. I've been posting. I didn't really know what I was doing. Okay, my content was still terrible. Like, I knew my content was bad as I was putting it out, but I didn't know it was that bad. Like, I was looking through my old content the other day, and it was like, oh my God, like, that was terrible. And it was only like 6 months ago. My physique looked terrible too. I mean, I had such body dysmorphia, but I didn't care at the time because I was just posting just to put myself out there. But I always found myself caring so much about what it was I was posting whenever I started, even though I knew that nobody I knew would see it because I blocked everybody. So anyways, long story short, a month goes by after posting content, 500 followers. I had a couple clients actually in for fitness coaching because I had the good ability to actually relate to people, and I had grown very fast. Okay, I had grown at least in my opinion, I had grown fast, right? So I did that. I had a couple clients for fitness coaching. I had a couple guys that I was coaching from school for. They paid me like it was like $25 a month, right? To do, like give me, like I'll give you a workout plan, nutrition plan, and optimization plan, whatever, for $25 a month. So I had a couple guys on that, and then I ended up raising my offer to like 200 a month. It was a very low ticket offer. I ended up getting a couple guys on that one too, paying me 200 a month for a fitness coaching mentorship, right? Where I would just teach them how to do whatever. And this was still, I mean, April, yeah. This would be, yeah, April, maybe May. And whenever graduation came around for high school, it just felt so different because I had to tell my principal, who was announcing what we would be doing after high school. Everybody was going to college. I had 78% of the people in in my grade were going to our city college, right? We have a college in my city, and 78% of them were going there. Okay, I was one of, out of my whole senior class, I was one of 4 people that didn't go to college. Everybody else was going into the workforce, not the workforce, going into a trade. And I hated that too. I didn't want to go into a trade. I didn't want to be a plumber or electrician or whatever. No, I had a dream, okay? And I knew that I was going to find an online business and stick to it, like fitness coaching, but I just didn't know what would change since then, right? So I ended up graduating from high school, got a couple clients, making next to nothing a month, essentially, right? And just doing content creation the whole time. And essentially from there, I ended up telling my mom about my account, my family, and they were blown away by the growth that I have had. Okay, I had a couple reels go viral, hit the algorithm, get almost 1 million views, but I was still, this is the point where I was at like 700 followers on Instagram by the time I graduated, and like I said, had a couple clients making next to nothing. Told them that I had an Instagram account, and they were like, "Dude, like that's freaking nuts, bro." And that night of graduation, there was a party, and we go to this party, and I was just like, it's like all these people are going into college, right? And then it's just like me, you know, like I'm doing something different, and nobody even realizes, because nobody knows that I've got this huge dream. Okay, I dreamt of becoming a very popular fitness coach, influencer online, fitness influencer, whatever. That's what I wanted, and nobody knew. Okay, everybody just wanted to sit at the party and freaking, drink their asses off because they had just graduated high school. So I leave the party, and then I go film my first YouTube video. And it was about, you can go scroll down and find my first YouTube video. It says Go All In. And it became my most watched YouTube video. Got like 300 views, whatever, at the time. And it was about me graduating from high school and becoming different, right? It was like I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. And I knew I was putting it out there that people would see it. And I don't know if people actually saw it or not. I don't know who actually views my videos. But from there, that changed everything, because that means I truly knew that I was on my own, that I'm out of high school, and that I'm not getting a job. I'm not getting an actual job, right? So I continue to create content, and this is when things started blowing up, okay? Around June. Okay, everything is the same until June. I ended up letting go of my fitness coaching program because there were too many faults in it. This was in May. I let it go. By the end of the May, I let the fitness coaching program go, and I decided, it's like, no, I didn't care too much about it. I didn't want to do it. It was boring, and I didn't have the physique that essentially people were dreaming of. Like, I wasn't that popular, so it was like a limiting belief. I could definitely make it work, but I didn't care too much. So I'm essentially just creating content now. I don't have any source of income whatsoever, right? June comes around, I start watching, there's this guy named Hudson Cosper online, okay? High ticket sales, another business model. And I didn't follow him because of his business model. I followed him because of his motivation, because of his mindset, right? I would watch his videos, and he taught me how to literally adopt the strongest mindset I've ever adopted in my entire life. Okay, the fact that the fact that you have to believe in who you like. First of all, you have to figure out who you are. You have to figure out what you want, and you have to figure out a definite plan to get there. But you have to believe it to already be true. That was his big thing, right? Believing your future self, your future version of you that is a millionaire to exist. You have to believe it to be true already. You have to believe that you already are that millionaire version of yourself, to the point where you just attract it to you through like you aligning yourself with the future version of you. If you get that, I mean, it's the law of attraction. That's what it means. All right, you are attracting that future version of yourself to you. Okay, and eventually time just catches up. So I ended up becoming like an addict to his content on YouTube, watching all of his videos on mindset. I was improving more than ever in my mind, and I just that week I had watched, I think, every single one of his videos he's ever made online, which was like hundreds. And that week was the most changing week of my life. And I decided that it's like, hey, like he's in high ticket sales. I don't have anything going for me right now except content creation. And at this point, I had hit 1,000 followers. And I was sponsored by a supplement brand. Okay, I mean, I forgot to mention that. I was sponsored by a supplement brand, Alex Eubank's brand. I always loved Alex Eubank. And that I became an affiliate for them. So that was awesome. I wasn't really making any money from it though. So I was just creating content, and I saw that Hudson, he was doing high ticket sales. And it's like, okay, with his mindset and he's made millions of dollars and he's 21 years old, you know, it's like, with how genuine it was, it's like, I feel like I should look into that, because I had the dream, of course, becoming a fitness coach, but it's like, and I told myself that I wasn't going to move away from being a fitness coach, but I ended up doing that because I didn't find the interest in it anymore. And I realized that I had quit, but I just didn't care. So I looked into high ticket sales, got on a call with Hudson's team, closed me immediately. Okay, $1,000 down the drain. I'm in high ticket sales. Okay, that was back in June. And then a week later, okay, my content was going well. I had probably about 1,300 on Instagram. I had been growing like kind of crazy, like 500 followers in the past few weeks. Whatever, right? I ended up joining Alex Eubanks mentorship for content creation. So I was in 2 mentorships, enrolled in 1 week. I lost $2,000 in 1 week through mentorships, okay? About 3K into the account, into the bank account. I had 3K. And that's when everything changed. Okay, I realized that I had gone all in on high ticket sales. Okay, and it's the smartest decision I've ever made in my entire life. Okay, because sales is that one thing that, like, it's not like some freaking drop shipping thing where you're selling Chinese products and you're a geek sitting in front of your computer 14 hours a day doing absolutely nothing, ugly, chopped as shit, right? No. It is completely different. Okay, you learn how to talk, you learn how to communicate, you learn how to diagnose people and their problems, and learn how to actually help people and build strong connections. That is sales. And it's the one thing that wasn't going to ever be replaced by AI. I mean, you're never going to buy from a robot, right? And high ticket sales is essentially, like, I saw these people running these courses online, okay? I saw these people were making millions of dollars selling an online course. And it's like, okay, if I can't sell my own online course like I tried to, a fitness coaching mentorship, why don't I help them sell an online course to where I can maybe learn a thing or two, okay, and make money while I'm doing it? So I did, okay? I started doing high ticket sales. Okay, I've been in there for 2 months. It's been the greatest decision of my entire life. And then I joined, like I said, Alex Eubanks mentorship for content creation, okay? In a month, I'm at, what is that? That was probably around 2 months ago. 2 months later, after a month of trying to hit 1,000 followers, a month later, right now, fast forward to today, I'm at almost 6K followers on Instagram. I started my TikTok, grew that to 11,000 followers in 1 month. And then the YouTube, of course, it's how it's doing now. Obviously, just started getting back into it. But you guys, take my information here with a grain of salt, right? And if you can relate to this in any way, go ahead and subscribe. Okay, if you're still watching to this video, but if you felt this way at all, if you felt like you wanted to change, if you felt like you were meant for more, you were. Okay, and there's plenty of things out there. Okay, I firmly suggest you go into high ticket sales to try and especially learn. But this is what it takes. You have to learn to keep your adversity, okay, in times of trouble. There were times in my content creation where I thought I was going to quit because my views weren't doing good, okay? And whenever in high ticket sales where I wasn't making any money, it's like, okay, maybe this was a scam. No, I had to overcome those limiting beliefs, okay? And the second you decide to actually take action is the second that the game of life begins, okay? So if you're watching the end of this video, I hope you can take my information, at least with a grain of salt, okay? Like I said, I'm only 18. I'm not there yet, guys. Okay, I'm not consistently making $10,000 a month. I'm not there yet. But for when I become extremely popular online, okay, hundreds of thousands, not millions of followers on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, you'll watch this video and you're like, he did it, okay? Because I am going to do it. I am going to do it. Because I tell myself I'm going to do it and I believe it to be true. And that's what you have to do, okay? You have to attract that future version of yourself, literally LARP it until you can make it. That's the term we use now, LARP. You LARP it until you make it. There is no limit to the LARP. Now, I appreciate you guys watching to this video. I hope you can take my information and go try and actually do something in the world to take action, to change your life. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.